Nikola Tesla was undoubtedly one of the most brilliant minds to have ever graced the earth. However, there's something quite intriguing about his work. You may have heard me mention him in previous videos, but today, I want to delve into this peculiarity, and its connection to his true work on vibration. One of Tesla's experiments that garnered significant attention was his so-called earthquake machine, officially known as Tesla's mechanical oscillator. The concept behind this machine was rooted in the principle of resonance. Tesla believed that if he could identify the resonant frequency of a structure, such as a building, or a bridge, he could use the machine to generate vibrations at that precise frequency, causing the structure to shake violently. There's an extensive account of him demonstrating this very theory. It was reported that, in 1898, Tesla's mechanical oscillator caused his building, and the surrounding area, to shake so intensely that some nearby residents believed an earthquake had occurred. However, it wasn't until years later that Tesla admitted he was responsible for this disruption. After revealing this, a reporter asked Tesla what would be required to destroy the Empire State Building. Tesla's response was simple, yet profound: vibration will do anything. It would only be necessary to amplify the vibrations of the machine to match the building's natural frequency, and the structure would collapse. This concept aligns with the law of vibration, which asserts that everything in our world, whether visible or invisible, is composed of energy and light. This energy and light exist as vibratory frequencies, and it's not just physical matter that holds energy. Thoughts, words, and even the way you express something carry their own unique energy. Whether you are aware of it or not, all these factors play a crucial role in shaping your reality. As Tesla famously stated, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. The power of vibration enabled Nikola Tesla to shake buildings and bridges. By learning to harness the power of vibration correctly, you can shake your reality and shape your destiny, precisely as you desire. Ancient advanced civilizations, such as the Atlanteans, Egyptians, and Mayans, already mastered this knowledge thousands of years ago. However, this wisdom has been concealed over time. The elites have manipulated the world, like puppets, to maintain control. Throughout history, those in positions of power, monarchs, kings, and others, have always wielded control over the masses. In the past, they did so openly, using either direct force or propaganda. However, in today's world, with the advent of human rights and increased awareness, the elites have had to become far more cunning, operating subtly, and often under the radar. In this video, I'm going to share how you can break free from the chains that the elites have used to confine you. But, before you can do this, you must first learn how to alter your own vibration. The key to changing your entire vibrational makeup lies in one simple action, an action that has profoundly transformed my life, and the lives of over 1,000 clients I've coached. This action, quite simply, is the art of identity shifting. In life, our vibration is not determined by what we do, how we feel, or what we think, but fundamentally, by who we are being in every single moment. Reflect on this for a second: everything you do, how you feel, and how you think are all influenced by who you are being. By the end of this video, I will share with you a comprehensive guide on identity shifting, showing you how to become a completely new person, and experience a reality that is entirely different from the one you're currently living. But, to achieve this, we must understand three key components of the process. First, going beyond your current identity. Second, crafting a brand new identity. And finally, learning to remain within this newly crafted identity. This is going to be one of the most important videos on reality creation and manifestation that you will ever watch, and I am incredibly excited to share it with you. So, please, take a moment to sit back, take notes, and focus as we dive into this transformative journey. To begin, I want to take a moment to explain what identity shifting is. You might be wondering, what is identity shifting? Why is it so important? How did I even come across this idea? My initial realization of identity shifting came when I first started playing video games. In these games, especially in RPGs, role-playing games, I would level up a character, unlock new skills, and continually grow. What fascinated me was how predictable and rewarding this process was. I could see clear progress, which was something that I found lacking in real life. Throughout my teenage years, I often escaped into video games because they offered me a predictable and controlled environment where I could grow and achieve success. However, real life was full of uncertainties and challenges. I struggled in middle school and the early years of high school, feeling like a loser as I tried to escape my reality through gaming and online friendships. But, one day, out of deep frustration, I had a breakthrough realization: if I could level up a character in a video game, why couldn't I do the same in real life? I was fed up with being bullied, feeling stuck, and being unattractive. This realization marked the beginning of my journey into identity shifting, and it's the same journey that can lead you to transform your life and experience a reality that reflects your highest potential. I was deeply frustrated by the lack of attention from women, not making money, and generally feeling like a victim. This frustration drove me to explore ways to better myself. My first step toward self-improvement and leveling up was hitting the gym and lifting weights. I believed that if I became more muscular, those kids who bullied me would stop, and I'd become more attractive, finally gaining the attention I craved. This was my initial realization, but my journey took a deeper turn when I read the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. What struck me about this book was that Maxwell Maltz, a cosmetic surgeon, noticed something fascinating. Every time he gave someone a new face, or altered their features through cosmetic surgery, these individuals often became completely different people. They would walk into his office with low self-esteem, unable to stand up for themselves, feeling unattractive, and down. After surgery, whether it was something like a nose job, or another cosmetic enhancement, these people would start making more money, becoming more confident, happier, and overall, more successful. The reason for this transformation was that these individuals had formed an identity around their perceived flaws. They believed they were unattractive, and this belief held them back in life. When their appearance changed, they allowed themselves to adopt a new identity, which, in turn, changed their entire reality. This concept resonated with me because it was similar to my own experience in middle school. I used to get picked on a lot, especially because of my crooked teeth. Kids would call me bucktooth quasi, and I believed this was the root of all my problems and suffering. For years, I begged my mom to get me braces, convinced that fixing my teeth would solve everything. Finally, at 14, I got braces, and I imagined that once I took them off, I would transform into a different person. As silly as it might sound, that's exactly what happened. When I turned 15, and the braces came off, I emerged as a completely different person. I started presenting myself differently. I was no longer picked on, I had my first girlfriend, and my life changed dramatically. I felt more confident, better about myself, and I became more social and extroverted. I could express myself with ease, and all these changes occurred because I had envisioned myself as someone else after this appearance change. However, the key lesson here is that you don't have to undergo such a physical change to alter your identity, as I did. Over the years, I've learned that identity shifting doesn't require gimmicks. There are deeper, more profound ways to transform who you are, and, consequently, your entire life. Through reading books like Psycho-Cybernetics, and applying its principles, I realized that shifting your identity is fundamental to transforming every aspect of your life. This idea became even clearer to me after reading Parallel Universes of Self by Frederick Dodson. When I delved into that book, I began to fully grasp why these changes occur. If you don't mind, I'd like to explain how these shifts happen by using a diagram to illustrate the process. Most people believe that, in order to experience a particular reality, they must first take action, and that's true to an extent. Many in society are stuck at the level of action, constantly thinking, what can I do to achieve something? However, when you evolve beyond that mindset, you start to understand that your actions are being influenced by something deeper. You begin to ask, what is influencing my actions? The answer is that our actions are shaped by the predominant thoughts and feelings we hold. Take a moment to consider this: when you have a thought and feel compelled to act on it, you take that action. This is particularly evident when people are motivated by fear. For example, if you fear that your money might be stolen from your bank account, the thought of theft, coupled with the feeling of fear, will drive you to act. You might move your money, or change your password. So, it's clear that thoughts and feelings propel us into action. But what influences the thoughts and feelings we experience? This is where things get really interesting. Our thoughts and feelings are influenced by our worldviews, how we perceive the world around us. In the case of fear over money, your worldview might include the belief that there are thieves out there trying to steal from you. Because you believe that, it shapes your thoughts and feelings, and, in turn, your actions. But what shapes your worldview? What influences this paradigm of reality that you hold? The answer lies in how you view yourself, your identity. The world is a mirror, reflecting your inner self. If you see yourself as someone vulnerable to theft, that belief will shape your worldview, which then determines your thoughts, feelings, and ultimately, your actions. This is where identity plays a crucial role. Our worldview is, to a significant extent, influenced by our identity, how we perceive ourselves in relation to the world. Identity, or self-view, and worldview are examples of the beliefs we hold. These beliefs shape our thoughts and feelings, which then drive our actions, leading to the reality we experience. The key to transformation is to stop focusing solely on the effects, which is what most people do. They look at the actions they're taking, and wonder, how can I make more money? What business opportunity will help me achieve that? But this approach is limited because it doesn't address the root cause. The real change happens when you shift your identity, and, consequently, your entire worldview. When you do that, your thoughts, feelings, actions, and reality will naturally align with your new identity. People often try new business opportunities, and may initially see some success. They make a lot of money one month, but the next month, they see a decline. Or they decide they want to become more confident, and think, what can I do? Maybe I'll improve my posture. They might see some positive results, but because their deep-rooted worldview and self-view, their identity, remain unchanged, they inevitably revert back to their old identity and patterns. This is the primary reason why people fail to experience permanent change in their reality. I really want to emphasize this point. Many people who struggle with a particular reality, such as addiction, face this challenge because of their identity. For example, consider cigarette smokers. I remember reading in a Tony Robbins book that, when people change their identity, and start seeing themselves not as smokers trying to quit, but as non-smokers, they find it much easier to quit. The key is in the identity shift, from I am a smoker trying to quit, to I am a non-smoker, and smoking is unnatural to me. Once you start to shift your perspective in this way, it becomes significantly easier to change your habits, which then influences the reality you experience. My first exposure to identity shifting came from this realization. When I began applying the principles I'm about to share with you, I experienced dramatic shifts in my life. I went from being a corporate 9-to-5 employee, doubting whether I could ever run my own business, to seeing myself as a business owner who is worthy and capable of success. At first, there were many uncertainties. I constantly questioned whether I could do it. But, as I shifted my identity, those doubts began to lose their power over me. They might still be there, but they no longer affect me as much because I now see myself differently. I transitioned from being enslaved to a paycheck in a corporate job, to running my own business, growing it to 7 figures, and making $100,000 a month. I started living the life I wanted to live. The mission is to identify your desires, and figure out who you need to become in order to effortlessly experience those desires, and live that as your baseline. Remember, in life, we get what we tolerate. We don't achieve our highest standards, or dreams, but rather, we achieve what we're willing to tolerate. If you're willing to tolerate earning $10,000 a month, that's what you'll get. You'll do everything possible to reach that amount, and once you do, you'll relax, and might even get lazy. That's the pattern that plays out. So, to begin the process of identity shifting, the first critical step is to disassociate from your current conditioned identity. It's important to understand that the way you currently view yourself is heavily influenced by society. Your parents, friends, and environment have all shaped this identity. They have told you who you are, and how you should see yourself. But our mission now is to reverse this influence. We need to move from allowing external factors to shape our internal self, to having our internal self influence, and define our reality. Once we begin to influence our internal self, we can then affect our external reality. When you change what's inside, the outside naturally begins to transform as well. To achieve this, we first need to learn how to disassociate from the identity that has been unconsciously crafted over time, so that we can consciously create the identity we truly desire. It's crucial to take off the mask you've been wearing, to empty your cup, so to speak, so you can fill it with the essence you choose. The first, and most essential step in identity shifting is to go beyond your current identity. Now that you understand the importance of identity shifting, let's dive into how to actually begin the process. We've discussed the necessity of disassociating from your current identity, but how exactly do we accomplish that? I want you to take a moment, right now, to observe all the thoughts you're experiencing. What thoughts are coming up? Just observe them. Observing doesn't mean judging, or trying to change them, it simply means watching, and acknowledging what's there. Now, let's extend this observation to your body. Notice all the feelings you're experiencing. Once you can observe your thoughts and feelings, ask yourself, what is it that's observing these thoughts and feelings? What is this quality that is aware of them? Does this quality ever change? Think back to your past. Was this quality of observation different when you were 4 years old, 12 years old, or 20 years old? Likely, you'll realize that this quality has always been the same. Now that you can observe your thoughts and feelings, and recognize the act of observation itself, something profound happens. You begin to realize that you are not your thoughts and feelings. This is the beginning of disassociation. Most people are so deeply entrenched in their thoughts and feelings that they become identified with them, leading to unnecessary suffering. But even more critically, when you're deeply identified with a particular idea about yourself, I am this, or I am not, that you lose the opportunity to consciously become someone else. Remember, the goal here is to consciously embody the person you must become to experience the life you desire. This must be a conscious process. As we continue through this process, our current identity weakens. We become less strongly identified with the thoughts and feelings we experience. I want to illustrate how this process unfolds by referencing ancient yogic teachings. These ancient yogis believed that life, as we perceive it, began from a state of nothingness. From this nothingness, awareness emerged. Over time, this awareness became conscious of itself, leading to the birth of consciousness. Consciousness then gave rise to the mind, creating movements within consciousness. To further understand this, consider how we perceive the world around us. We tend to notice things in motion more easily than things that are still. For example, if you stare at an ocean when the water is perfectly still, you might not even notice the water. But, as soon as a drop of water, or a stone disturbs the surface, it captures your attention. This movement is akin to the mind's activity within consciousness. By recognizing this, you begin to understand that, behind all movement, thoughts and feelings, there is a stillness, an awareness that remains unchanged. This awareness is your true self, unbound by the identity shaped by external influences. By connecting with this deeper awareness, you can start to consciously craft the identity that aligns with the life you wish to create. We tend to notice disturbances, and it's through these disturbances within consciousness that the mind was born. Once the mind emerged, it gave rise to the body. This connection between mind and body is evident in phenomena like the placebo effect. People sometimes heal themselves spontaneously, even though the pill they took contained nothing of medicinal value. I shared a story in one of my earlier videos about how I convinced a friend that a piece of candy contained marijuana. He believed it so strongly that he actually got high, but when I told him it was just candy, he couldn't believe it. This illustrates how powerful the mind is in shaping our reality. Our mission in this process of disidentification is to understand that identity is formed at the level of the mind and body. This is the most physical level, and as we move towards consciousness, things become subtler. The exercise we practiced, observing thoughts, observing feelings, and then observing the act of observing, is crucial. When consciousness becomes aware of itself, we interrupt the cycle of identification, starting the process of disidentification. This allows us to reside primarily as awareness, which is formless, and not confined to the body. Currently, we define the boundaries of our identity by our body. What I call myself is bound by my physical form. But, what if these boundaries expanded to include our environment? We would become limitless. Disidentification weakens the identity that was unconsciously crafted, giving us the freedom to consciously choose who we want to embody in this physical world. A great resource that discusses this process is the book Who Am I? By Sri Ramana Maharishi. It's a short, 30 to 40 page book that introduces the process of self-inquiry, the path of intellect. It was instrumental in getting me started on this journey. One thing that's messed up in our current society is that many people wear their traumas like badges. We've become walking bundles of traumas, constantly keeping the narrative of our past alive by saying things like, "I'm an abuse survivor," or "I'm a divorced single mom." Even when people don't feel good about these identities, they often proclaim them to relate to others, surrounding themselves with people in similar situations. This keeps them stuck in that energy, and reinforces the identity they're trying to escape. It's essential to become aware of the narratives we unconsciously repeat, which is why observing, and becoming conscious of everything, our thoughts, feelings, and the stories we tell ourselves, is so important. The final step is to become conscious of consciousness itself. By staying aware of our current identity, we weaken it over time. Eventually, you may wake up one day feeling peaceful, and empty inside, no longer reactive to circumstances or driven by fear. This emptiness is the beginning of true freedom. The next step in this journey is to consciously craft the identity you wish to embody, ensuring that it aligns with the life you want to live. We are now going to step into the next version of ourselves, what I like to call our 2.0 selves. This part of the video will guide you through a fun and crucial exercise where we'll craft our upgraded version, the person we need to become to achieve our goals. This is a pivotal step in the process, second only to stepping beyond your current identity. The exercise we're about to do is one we often use with clients in our Reality Mastery program. Having guided over 1,000 clients through this process, I can confidently say it works. I'm excited to share it with you. Here's how to begin. 1. Get a piece of paper. This will be your programming document. The first thing you'll do is draw a picture of your ideal self, your 2.0 character. Don't worry about being an artist, just make it as creative as possible. Maybe your 2.0 self has a cape, or perhaps you add some scribbles around it with qualities that represent this character. The goal is to create a visual that most accurately reflects how you want this upgraded version of yourself to look and be. 2. Define 5 superpowers. Now, think about the traits, or superpowers, that your 2.0 character needs to possess in order to effortlessly achieve your goals. For example, if you're running a business, and need to lead a team, one superpower could be fearless leader. Next to each superpower, write a brief description of what this trait enables your character to do. For instance, fearless leader, Quasi's exceptional leadership skills allow him to have a highly motivated team, and his customers look to him for advice and guidance. So, what are your 5 superpowers? Define them, and describe how they will help you succeed. 3. List 5 accomplishments. Think long term. What are the significant achievements your 2.0 self has accomplished? Examples could include, achieved $1 million months in business, built a happy family with 3 healthy children, or attained peak physical health with 180 pounds, and 5% body fat. These are the goals you want your 2.0 character to have accomplished. 4. Identify 5 key habits. Next, define the daily habits, or actions that make your 2.0 self who they are. These can be framed as qualities. For example, early riser, Quasi wakes up at 5 a.m. every day, full of energy. Another could be daily gym routine. This character lifts weights, or exercises every single day. What are 5 habits your 2.0 self consistently practices? 5. Get creative. Now, take your programming document, and create different columns. This exercise is meant to be creative, so don't hesitate to think outside the box. You could label the columns with categories like superpowers, accomplishments, habits, and so on, making it easy to organize and visualize the traits, goals, and actions that define your 2.0 self. By going through this exercise, you are actively shaping the identity you want to embody, the person you need to become to achieve the life you desire. Remember, this is about consciously crafting the next version of yourself, so take your time, and have fun with it. Now that you've started crafting your 2.0 self, let's solidify this transformation with a few more important steps. 1. Style your character. Define your 2.0 character's style. What kind of hairstyle does this character have? What type of outfit do they wear? Do they have a particular taste in makeup, jewelry, or accessories? For example, on my vision board, I once wrote that I would wear a simple Rolex, paired with sweatpants, and a t-shirt. This was how I envisioned my 2.0 self, and I made an effort to live as closely as possible to that style. Do the same for yourself. Get specific about how your 2.0 self presents to the world. 2. Create 5 affirmations. Next, write down 5 affirmations that align with your 2.0 character. These should bridge the gap between your current self and the person you want to become. For example, one of my affirmations was, Quasi's YouTube channel is thriving, attracting millions of viewers daily, and customers seek his guidance every day. Tailor your affirmations to reflect the superpowers and goals you've defined for your 2.0 self. Ideally, these affirmations should cover different areas of your life, but you can focus more on the areas that are most important to you. 3. Daily practice. Once you've completed your programming document, place it next to your bed, somewhere you can easily access it. Every morning when you wake up, and every night before bed, read through your document. Do this consistently for 40 days, and observe the changes in your life. I can almost guarantee that this practice will dramatically shift your reality. 4. Staying in character. One of the biggest challenges people face after crafting a new identity is staying in character. As you embark on this journey to becoming your 2.0 self, there will be pitfalls that might pull you back into your old ways. The key is to recognize these challenges, and remain steadfast in your new identity. A common issue I see is inconsistency. Clients often tell me that one month their business brings in $80,000 in revenue, but the next month it drops to zero, or they get into relationships that start strong, but soon fall into the same toxic patterns. This happens because they've been focused on changing the effects, rather than addressing the root cause, their identity. Imagine a series of dominoes. Nothing happens until the first big domino falls, the one that triggers the rest. The root cause, or the big domino, is your identity. If you don't address and shift this core aspect, the same patterns will keep repeating themselves. Now that you understand identity shifting, how to go beyond your current identity, and how to craft a new one, the final step is to stay within this new identity. As challenges arise, remember that consistency is key. Don't allow setbacks to pull you back into your old self. Embrace your 2.0 identity fully, and continuously, and you'll see lasting transformation in your life. Falling back into old patterns is where the importance of staying within your new identity really comes into play. One crucial thing to understand is that our identity is dynamic, not static. Life is in a constant state of becoming, everything is evolving, and moving towards something new. Energy continuously changes form, it can neither be created nor destroyed. Just as ancient yogis believed that nothingness evolved into the body, we, too, are in a constant state of transformation. What ultimately matters is whether you are working with life, or against it. If you align yourself with life's natural flow, and become a reality creator, it's all about adjusting your sails to harness the direction of the wind. Think of sailboats, they use the wind's power to reach their destination. That's how you should approach life. You want to direct, and channel your energy without trying to control, or manipulate it. This distinction is subtle, but significant. As you delve deeper into this path, you'll begin to recognize the balance between exerting effort, and surrendering to the process. Since our identity is dynamic, life will continually require you to evolve, and become a new version of yourself. For example, when I transitioned from my corporate career to starting my own business, I needed to adopt the identity of a business owner, the quasi that creates quality YouTube videos. But once I achieved that, I had to evolve into the quasi who generates six figures. As I continued to grow, I shifted my identity to match my new goals, the quasi that makes $20,000 a month, then $50,000, $100,000, $150,000, and beyond. Each stage required me to systematically shed my old identity, and step into a new one based on what life required of me at that time. Similarly, when I was single, I had to embody the identity of a single quasi. But, when I became a husband, I had to evolve into a better husband, a better son, or whatever role was necessary at that point in my life. The key is developing the awareness to know when to let go of an old identity, but, more importantly, not letting go too soon. You must ground yourself in your current identity until it fully manifests the reality you desire. Grounding your new identity in reality is crucial. Often, people start this journey, see some initial success, and then become complacent, forgetting to continue the work that got them there. This complacency is natural because, as we discussed earlier, we don't achieve our highest dreams, we achieve what we are willing to tolerate. When people see early success, they often stop doing what worked, thinking they've already reached their goal. This is why it's essential to keep grounding your identity in reality until it fully becomes your new norm. In essence, your identity should be like a sail that adjusts to the wind, constantly evolving, yet firmly grounded in the reality you are creating. By recognizing when to evolve, and when to stay grounded, you'll be able to consistently grow, and reach new levels of success without falling back into old patterns. We often revert to the lowest standard we set for ourselves, the things we're willing to tolerate. This is why it's crucial to ground your new identity in reality. If you don't, you'll inevitably slip back into old patterns. There are many methods to solidify this new identity, but I'm going to share two of the most effective ones. Method 1, fake it till you make it. There's a lot of controversy around the idea of fake it till you make it, but from my experience, this is one of the most effective ways to become your ideal self. A recent example that highlights this approach is the story of Ryan Serhant, a well-known real estate mogul. When Ryan started in real estate, he wanted to attract higher quality clients but couldn't afford expensive clothing. So, he went to Chinatown, and bought a fake Rolex. Ryan shared on Twitter that this cheap, yellow knockoff watch became like a security blanket for him. Seeing Rolex every time he checked the time served as a vision board for success right on his wrist. It boosted his confidence, helping him embody the successful version of himself he aspired to be. Today, Ryan is worth around $40 million. This story illustrates that who you pretend to be is who you become. Initially, it may feel uncomfortable and fake because it's not who you've been accustomed to being. It might even feel inauthentic. But ask yourself, what is the real you? You're comfortable being someone else because that's who you've been your whole life. Now, what if I told you that the version of yourself you just crafted in the last exercise is who you're meant to be? You might not believe it because it doesn't feel right. But this feeling is subjective. As you fake it long enough, it becomes a part of you. Once you've made it, you'll look back and realize that the old version of yourself feels completely unnatural. So, look at the qualities you've listed for your 2.0 self. How can you start to fake it until you make it? Maybe it's by getting a fake Rolex, or adopting a certain style of clothing that matches your ideal self. The key is to use actions and possessions as a way to embody the qualities you desire. Method 2. Create a confirmation journal. The second method, and perhaps the most powerful one that my clients attribute their success to, is keeping a confirmation journal. When you set out with a new belief or affirmation, it needs to be grounded in confirmation, otherwise, your mind will resist it, and you'll struggle to make lasting changes. A confirmation journal helps you solidify these new beliefs by providing evidence that your new identity is becoming reality. To create a confirmation journal, I recommend getting a small diary, something simple, like the one I bought on Amazon. Each night before bed, write down one piece of evidence or confirmation that shows how you embodied your 2.0 self that day. These could be small moments, or glimpses of you living out the qualities of your ideal self. Over time, these confirmations build up, making your new identity feel more real, and solidifying it in your mind. By consistently faking it till you make it, and keeping a confirmation journal, you'll be able to ground your new identity in reality, and prevent yourself from slipping back into old patterns. The more you practice these methods, the more natural your new identity will feel, and before long, it will become your new baseline. Whenever something happens in your reality that aligns with you being your ideal self, make sure to acknowledge it, even exaggerate it at first. When you begin this practice, it might not feel natural, and you may question whether it truly reflects your ideal self. But, remember, it's entirely subjective. For example, if your goal is to become a successful coach, and someone leaves a positive comment on your YouTube video, such as "This was a good video," recognize it as a sign that you are on the right path. The key here is not to judge these moments. Instead, be biased in favor of your success. Look at the most successful people; they possess an unwavering conviction in their vision. People like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are incredibly biased in their belief in what they want to achieve. You need to develop that same level of conviction in your ideal reality for it to manifest. This bias should be grounded in good intentions, of course, otherwise, it can lead you astray. To illustrate how effective these methods can be, let me share a recent success story. One of our clients, Joey, was struggling to quit his corporate design job and transition into running his own business. Although he had freelanced before and knew he could succeed, he was plagued with doubt and had become comfortable climbing the corporate ladder. After he implemented these methods, faking it till he made it, and keeping a confirmation journal, he became his Joey 2.0. Within just a few months, he closed around $17.6 thousand in new business, and is now fully self-employed as a design consultant. This is the power of embodying your ideal self. Changes in your reality can happen quickly, and before you know it, you'll be living in your new reality. So, here's what I want you to do right now: pause this video, and write down the two methods, faking it till you make it, and keeping a confirmation journal. Then, take action immediately. Order a confirmation journal, and commit to writing in it every single night for 40 days. That's all you need to do to start seeing changes. By adding these confirmations, you're stacking the odds in favor of becoming the person you want to be. What initially seems like a weak, fledgling identity will gradually grow stronger and stronger. Until next time, peace.